everybody gets comfortable. Ada lagi satu headset, nak perlukan headset. Minta Alright. Alright, it's 2:30 on my clock, so let's start the session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to every and each one of you. Thank you for being here. Our session for Ikigai for Organization. Just a quick pulse check. Anyone here has heard or read about Ikigai before? Okay, alright, very good, very interesting. I will take you through a journey of my own personal experience of what is Ikigai is all about. And Ikigai has always been something that is personal. Very seldom people talk about Ikigai from the organization perspective. So I'll try my level best to share a little bit of thoughts on it and how we can actually adapt and apply Ikigai for organizations. On another note, these are personal experiences. So it may or may not support your initial understanding of Ikigai based on what you have read and what you have heard about before. Okay, so my name is Fauzan bin Osman. Before I was like this, I was like this. This was me somewhere in 1996 to 1998. That's where I got a scholarship from JPA, and then I pursued my studies to Japan. And prior to going to Japan, we had to learn Japanese language for 2 years. So from a young man who knows nothing, it is during that age where I got the opportunity and being groomed by the Japanese. So a lot of what happened during that time resonates and builds on the foundation that I have carried on through my life. Being a Malay Muslim, sometimes you think that certain concepts may reflect differently, but as I experience this, rest assured that Ikigai is not religious from any perspective. Ikigai is more of a cultural and way of living of the Japanese. So from a young man going to Japan, as you can see in that picture, alone. Because the concept back then was one student in one district. But towards the end of our program, we had several students from Malaysia in different districts. Because back then the government didn't want learning from the experience of sending our students to UK, US, where we tend to become very communal in that respect. So they wanted us to mix around, so they sent like every district 1 or 2 students only. So being a stranger in the land where physically you are different, language different, thought process different. So I got to learn a lot about how to reverse engineer the thinking process of the Japanese, because if you know Japanese, it's very difficult to penetrate their cycle. I mean, their circle is very close-knit, that if you were to penetrate, they will guide you for life. If you cannot penetrate, they'll just treat you like anyone else. Of course, they layan you very nicely, but at the end of the day, you are still a stranger to them. Okay? So, I'm going to take you on a short journey. I cannot bring you to Japan, but at least I'll share with you. Most of my time in Japan was spent up here. This is Hokkaido. I stayed for about 3 years in Hakodate, which is this part, and then came back to Malaysia, worked for a Japanese company, and they sent me for on-job training in Tochigi. Tochigi is where, for information, Sharp Electronics was. So I was employed by Sharp Electronics, and I was sent there for on-job training. So that was the time where I managed to experience Japan as an employee. And it is totally a different story altogether. Because as a student going to Japan, you are a visitor. They welcome you because you're here for a short period of time. So you're not going to stay long. So they want to give you a good experience. But when you are there as an employee, that's where I actually lost 12 kg in 3 months. So if you want to go on a quick diet, go to Japan as an employee, because this is the boss. There's another three Chinese guy who was my colleagues at that point of time. Of course, they could not speak Japanese. Chinese writing and Japanese writing is almost similar, but because they cannot speak Japanese, the first thing that my boss told me when I reached Japan was, don't dream of going back home at 5:30, because for the three of them, it's a holiday. For you, you are here to learn. You are here because I want to transfer all the knowledge that I have to you, so that Malaysia could carry on this particular task. So that was the point of the whole training program. Now, Japan, for your information, and by the way, anybody here has actually experienced Japan as a tourist? Even Japan, how was the trip? Okay, it's very awkward because it's a very one way kind of session. We cannot actually hear you guys, but you guys can hear me. Do you have friends in Japan? Yes, no. No friends in Japan. No friends in Japan. If you had friends in Japan, and if they ever invite you to their house, so and the biggest honor would be they will ask you to take a bath. Now, Japanese people, they have shower, but the way they take bath is through the ofuro, the tub. Okay, just ask you, show a raise of hand. In sequence, who do you think goes first? Father, mother, son, daughter. Who thinks that the first one that goes in is the mother? First one to go in the tub is the father. Yes. In first. Who's number two? Son, daughter. Son, yes. Son goes in next. Then who goes next? Mother or daughter? Mother. Actually, daughter. And then the mother will be the last person to go in and clean the tub. So as a friend who is invited to the house, which number? First, second, third, or fourth? Which would be your sequence? Anybody thinks that the first one to go in is the visitor? Visitor goes in first. Visitor goes in second. Visitor goes in third. Okay. Visitor goes in last. Okay. How they appreciate visitors is that visitors goes in first before the father. If you develop a good, they call it skinship. Skinship means good relationship, very very strong relationship. Then maybe the father will go in the tub with you lah. And that might be a very awkward moment for some. I told them, because I'm a Muslim, please don't come in the tub with me. But that was how the sequence was. I would go in first, then the father would jump in, and then the son would jump in, and so on and so forth. But anyway, point here is that is how they appreciate visitors. So if you want to learn customer service, the best place, of course, is Japan. Now, taking from that experience, going there as an employee, now you are one of them. So as an employee, the newest person is the lowest person. So totally 180 degrees shift in terms of my experience. So that is how I went through getting to know Japanese. So I've been in 2 locations, lived there for quite some time. But what I want to talk about today in terms of Ikigai did not happen in these areas. Ikigai actually happened way south, further south, in the island of Okinawa. So Okinawa and where I live is like totally different. I would say it's almost like a different country altogether, because Okinawa used to have their own rulership, but because of war, so they are put into Japan. And Okinawa is very popular for a few things, and one of the most common things that people think about when you talk about Okinawa is the US base is here. Okay, military base. US military base is stationed in Okinawa. But anyway, so Okinawa was known by general public because of the US base, but back in 2008, this guy from National Geographic, he wanted to do a study which was named the Blue Zone. What is the Blue Zone? Basically, he wanted to find out why people or how could people live beyond 100 years. Because he wanted to find out what's the secret of longevity. If a person can live more than 100 years, what's the secret? So he went out and tried to figure out, and he went across the globe, Europe and all other places, but he realized that Okinawans specifically has the most and the longest in terms of lifespan. So again, coming back to Okinawa, there must be something special there. In Malaysia, anybody here from Perak? Anybody here from Ipoh? Specifically Ipoh? They say that the water, they say that the water in Ipoh is so nice that the ladies are fairer in Ipoh and the gentleman in Ipoh has better features. I'm not sure lah if that's true or not, but there is a legend even in Langkawi that if you drink the water of Langkawi, you always want to come back. So people tend to think it's all about the consumption of food or water and whatnot. But when they go to Okinawa, they realize that Okinawans have something. They tend to say this word over and over again as a secret, which is Ikigai. Now, prior to Ikigai, Okinawa was very popular for one thing. What do you think is one of the most common and the most popular thing that's associated with Okinawa back in the 80s? Anybody? Any thoughts? I'll show you a picture most of you will recognize. Karate, yes. Karate originates from Okinawa. Okay, just a quick name. Cobra Kai season, the latest season will come out soon. But anyway, so karate, why they developed karate was that, again, remember Okinawa used to have their own government, but was took over. So when they took over, they actually banned and confiscated all weapons. So the only fighting style that they could practice was kara, empty, and te, hand, empty hand. So karate basically means empty hand. Karaoke is short form for kara, empty, okay, orchestra. So empty orchestra, no singers. So every time you go karaoke, that's the, and it's supposed to be pronounced as karaoke, not karaoke. But anyway, so people have known Okinawa for karate, but through our friend just now, he realized that Okinawans has this word called Ikigai. It is not totally Japanese, but origin is from Okinawa. So what is this Ikigai? Now, Ikigai comes from the word Iki and Ka-I, pronounced as Ikigai. So I'm going to go through the meaning of each character just to give you guys a little bit of an idea what it means. So Iki, I'm sure some of you have seen this on a sticker or something. Groceries, if you go to Aeon and whatnot, you may have seen this. This basically means life, genuine, or in the case of Aeon supermarket, would mean raw. So if you see the sticker, basically the food is uncooked. Okay, so that is Iki. Okay, life, raw. Ka is basically first layer or A grade or first class, and sometimes also defined as armor. Okay, body armor. So now, life, first layer, and E has basically two characters. It means beautiful or pattern, but it consists of two characters. One being something that is extremely different, and literature. So you can start to wear the ni. So when you put this all together, what does it mean? Life, first layer is difficult, but there's beauty in it. That's Ikigai. So you find beauty in difficult things. So that's ikigai. Okay? This is not the same, the definition that's often being used in Western books. Because remember, Western culture has different influence. So when they figure out that the Japanese has a longer life because of ikigai, they try to understand that in their context. So this is the original word for ikigai. Now, how many of you have seen this before? Seen this, right? Very common, right? You see a lot in Uniqlo, right? T-shirt. Every year they come up with a new T-shirt with this design. Who thinks this is tsunami? Who thinks this is tsunami? It's actually not tsunami, but this is what they call the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Kanagawa is a place where if you can stand and you will see Fuji. And by the way, Japanese, to them, Fuji is sacred. That's why they don't call it Fujiyama. They call it Fujisan. San has two meanings. One is the word mountain. Another word is when you address somebody, you are something san. And san means respect. If they don't really respect you, they will call you something else. Like me, when I was a student, they call me Fauzan san. But when I'm there as an employee, they call me Fauzan kun. So they, in Japanese, they have like 3 levels. I respect you, I'm lifting you up. I and you, we are in the same level. And then there's another type of language, where they put you down. So kun is putting you down. So after this, if anybody calls you by kun at the back, you know they're putting you down. Okay, but anyway. So even as Fuji as a very important and prominent in their culture, they are putting the waves bigger than that. And I would like to channel your focus to this. What do you think this is? It's a boat. It's a boat, right? So this is a boat. These are people on the boat. The blue color one. These are people, These are people. So what is this? What is this? But you can see, right? This is actually fish. The fish. So what happens in this picture, the main idea of this picture is people have difficulties eating. So in the village, certain people are meant to go out and catch fish for the whole village. So because they are catching fish for the whole village, the understanding here is everybody plays a role. So if they are the persons who's going out there to catch fish, we must appreciate them. Because I am left back at the village, I cannot catch fish. But these fellas are facing this big wave every single day, so I must appreciate. And how do they appreciate? This is something, a very fun fact. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, sticks are very short. If you go to kopitiam, the chances. Now, the assumption here is, if you go to kopitiam, you see most of the tables are round table, kan? So when they want to eat, they go and ambil lauk belah sana, further reach. But the Japanese, they make it short. Because why? This extra portion is waste. I'm not going to use this part. I'm just going to use the chopstick, this part. So that's why their chopsticks are usually shorter. And then, towards the tip of the chopsticks is usually a bit sharper. Because why? They want to scrape all the meat out of the bone of the fish. So that is their thinking on how they appreciate resources. So the first thing that maybe you can gain out of this lesson is, when we talk about ikigai, mindset that is important to foster, because some of us, we are salesperson. We go out there and get the sales, catch the fish. But some of us are the ones that's executing the work. So if we think that one is superior than the other, then there will be not a nice harmony relationship. Okay, so what's interesting about this? Okay, I'll show you one example. This is Osaka. I got the privilege to go to Osaka to visit. If you go to Osaka, this is, I think, one of the most common spots that people will go to, which is the Osaka Castle. During that trip, I managed to notice something. I was walking there with my wife, visiting the Osaka castle. Then I realized, there are kids. By the way, yellow cap is preschool. So preschool kids being brought to this place, and as I observe what they are doing, you realize that they are drawing something. I eavesdropped what the teacher told them. He said, draw something that you find beautiful. So if you find that the roof is beautiful, you draw the roof. If you're not interested in the castle, you're interested in the trees, you draw the trees. So imagine what happens at a young age. They are bringing the students out to appreciate what's there. So you cultivate the sense of appreciation towards their own culture, their own facilities, and so on and so forth. This is where I'm a bit sad, because sometimes in Malaysia, if you notice, when they open up the new MRT line, as soon as like the first or second day, you see vandalism. So why do we have vandalism? There must be something wrong somewhere, right? One of the reasons that I have in my mind is people don't learn how to appreciate. Because for them to build something, and then after going through war, it is still there. So they teach the people to appreciate it. So now, on the way back from Osaka Castle, I managed to observe this. I caught the picture of this. White color hat means primary school. So imagine we were on the same train, and then how they took care of each other is that the kids will always be together, and as one would go down the train or on the stop, what will happen is everybody will line up, and then they will bow to each other. The kid who goes off the platform will also bow, and then the train jalan lah. And then the kid will walk on his own, and it's quite far. So I was quite surprised that, this is something unique. And later on, I realized one of the mindset that the community have is, if we cannot create a safe environment for a kid to commute back and forth from school, then we have failed as a society. So that was one of their mindset. So imagine, kids going on, tak ada siapa kacau. But in Malaysia, you will be afraid. Parents in Malaysia, sekolah menengah pun kalau boleh hantar depan-depan pintu. And that is something that I think is we need to grow out of that lah. And I would like to channel your attention to this right here. What do you see? A trash can, right? So besides the vending machine, there's a trash can, and there's a unwritten rule that if you buy something, you must consume it there and throw the waste in that trash can. So basically, if you buy at 7-Eleven, you cannot walk and eat and throw your trash at Family Mart punya dustbin. The Family Mart owner can call you, come pick up your trash. There's a lot of Japanese people, they have trash in their pocket. Even my Japanese boss will carry around a small ashtray. So if he goes out to smoke, he'll open up the ashtray and then close and simpan dalam pocket there. I was so amazed by how they developed that. I try my level best to impart this knowledge. But again, me alone cannot do much. But if I share this during NTW, I hope, can have a little bit of idea of what we can do lah as a society. But anyway, now this is where people got a little bit surprised by Japanese. This happened during the tsunami. If you remember, tsunami back in 2013. This is what happened, and within a short period of time, they are fully functional again. Surprising. Same location, You notice, in the same location, Mitsubishi sign, same location, within less than 11 months. Now, remember, tsunami hit us, Penang, Aceh was hit very badly. Some parts are still recovering, and it's been many years, but they managed to do it within 11 months. So there's something that's special about them. Now, to our defense, Japanese is a homogeneous nation. They have one race, one language, one type of people only. So in a way, they have an advantage. For us, our advantage, our strength is diversity. But because of diversity, we have different understanding of culture and whatnot. It's a plus point, but also it creates a little bit of difficulty to do certain things. because we don't want to offend one another. It's very difficult for us to become one nation. Although our previous Prime Minister had the idea of Satu Malaysia, but that didn't live very long lah, as you know. Okay, don't want to get into trouble. Okay, so how can we adapt this and how can we apply this back in different situations? This is where Dan actually came up with a framework on how to go about Ikigai. So Ikigai is not just something that is personal, it is something that you find enjoyment in doing, whether you're a fisherman, you're a sportsman, you like traditional work and whatnot. All of that is considered as Ikigai. It is not just sense of purpose. It is everything that you like, everything that you do to contribute to one another. And I think it goes very nicely with the spirit of NTW, because what we are doing is we are sharing knowledge. It's not for us, we are giving the opportunity for everyone to learn about it. So now, how can we do this? These are some words, very powerful words that I think I would like to share. You see, every single one of us are given opportunity to enter this world. If not, we won't be here. Biologically, you will understand this, that millions and then only the lucky ones are here. And within that lucky ones, just a few lucky ones are in this class with me today. So within that few lucky ones in my class today, some of you will be able to apply Ikigai and I will be happy. Right. Now, wouldn't it be a waste if we never explore our potential? And wouldn't be a waste to the world if they never got to experience your talent? Every and each one of us here, we have a talent, we have a gift, we have something that we can share to others. But if we never explore it, we won't know. Okay? So, these are very powerful words which I think we can translate back into different scenarios. Through my experience in Osaka, I managed to capture this picture. By the way, what it says here is, these two kids are from Nagoya. They travel about 200 kilometers for 4 days to distribute free CDs of their songs. Now, imagine, travelling 200 kilometers, stay for 4 days and distribute free CDs. Kita dekat Malaysia kan, semua nak kira. That's why I said that the spirit of National Training Week is great, because we are doing all of this for free for people to experience. Now, why do you think they are travelling all that distance and staying there for 4 days to give out free CDs? Because of their passion for their talent in singing. Okay, now next one. This is also another heartwarming incident. My life is full of kebetulan, which I managed to see this as we were leaving Universal Studio Japan. We saw a street performer is trying to earn a living lah, basically. But what you see here, this child here, is basically his daughter. So he's performing his arts for people, but he's bringing his daughter, and during the break time, he was talking to his daughter, explaining what he does. Now imagine if you grow up seeing your parents work. Now some of us are lucky because we can see how our parents work and earn an income. Some of us, we never see them. They go to office, come back, we never know their hardship. But imagine if you see the hardship of your parents, won't you think that the child will grow up with a very strong character? Okay, so anyway, coming back to Ikigai. So Ikigai has been defined by the Western world as most commonly 4 quadrants. I would like to add on 2 angles. The first angle of Ikigai is you. If we don't do something that is beneficial for ourselves, we won't feel that fulfillment. So it has to start with something that you want, something that you would like to do. And on top of that, remember that because we live in a community, we have responsibility with others. Our talent should help other people. So that's on the side. But whatever we do should also contribute to others, because other people's life is also dependent a little bit on what we do. So these 2 would make up a very strong Ikigai, and there are 4 elements: the things that you love, the things that you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can earn from. So what the Western world has done is put it in a very nice framework that overlaps each and every one of these components. Okay, so if you do something that you love and you are good at it, it becomes passion. Because why? The more you do what you love, the more you feel good about it, and then suddenly it just builds a passion. Now, what you are good at and you can earn from becomes your profession. I'm blessed because I managed to find my passion, and also I find that I can earn a living through doing training. So I'm good at what I do, and I'm happy that I can do this. Now, on the other part, if you can earn from it, and coincidentally, it's what the world needs. So now suddenly it becomes a good job for you to have. Now, if you do what the world needs and what you love, it becomes a mission. So imagine, in certain organization, if all the components are not put together, what tends to happen is you will have a sense of unfulfillment. For example, an NGO, they do what they love. So let's say the NGO is about cats. So they love cats. Taking care of stray cats is what the world needs. But if they cannot earn something out of it, they cannot survive. Similarly, if you're doing something that has all these three things, but you're not good at it, you will struggle in your work or the task that you do. So now this is the most common diagram that's being used to define Ikigai, and I have it in the notes in front of you. If you open up, center page is this particular story. But what I would like to share with you is not the formula of Ikigai, but the experience that I went through, because I experienced Ikigai. And by the way, if you go to Japan and you ask somebody what is Ikigai, they won't draw this quadrant for you lah. Basically, they won't draw this diagram. But what they say is things that makes them happy, things that makes them jump out of bed, things that makes them want to do more. That fulfillment. So I experienced that through my experience as a student. By the way, just to highlight a little bit, if you notice, the table is different. This is the exact same classroom, by the way, taken about 7 years apart. So now imagine, within 7 years, the school actually changed the whole set of tables and chairs. Sekolah dekat Malaysia berapa tahun baru nak tukar kerusi meja. So that's a different story altogether. That's something we need to work on. Okay, I experienced Ikigai through the passion of my sensei. This is my class sensei, and Sato sensei, it was his first time managing a class. Dia tak pernah handle a class, but our batch was his first class. So he made a lot of mistakes, and I learned later on that was the only class he was the head of. Okay, so during his time, during our graduation, he had a very short speech. He said, through his life as a student, he always thought that he was a basketball player. By the way, he thought that scoring the winning goal, shooting the hoop would be his happiness. But during that graduation, he stood up in front and said to all of us, he said, now he understands what is true happiness. True happiness is making he looked at me straight in the eyes. Because he helped me a lot. If you notice this picture, my father passed away during the time for me. And that was his Ikigai. Or at least that was what I felt as his Ikigai. Sorry, didn't plan for this. Anyway, moving along. I also felt that with my friends who actually managed to help me become who I am today. And I think I'm very glad because I'm here. I get to share this with all of you. It has become my Ikigai. But anyway, coming back to the point. Sorry, excuse me. So Ikigai is a topic that I feel very passionate about because I think we all could benefit from helping other people to achieve what they would like to achieve. And how can we actually do this? How can we bring this Ikigai to our organization? It's actually very simple. Identify the goals of the organization, identify what is your passion, what are the things that you like to do that can help contribute to others. Please find what is your talent and how you could help other people do better. Okay. So why are organizations established? Just to share a little bit of theory here. Organizations are commonly established because of either to create job opportunities for other people, or as business, we want to make profit. But along the way, as an organization, if we can help solve problems, then maybe something magical could happen. How many of you guys here has a Honda product? Motorcycle, car, anybody? Honda started off, thank you. Honda started off with this. And I put Honda here because the story of Honda was he made this small motor for weapons to use during the war. After the war ended, Honda realized he had a lot of stocks. There's so many stocks. What am I going to do with this? So that drove him to put the motor on a bicycle and basically made the first motorcycle. So that was how Honda started off. Anybody knows what this is? I'll change the logo to something more recent. You recognize this, right? So Toyota is on the other side of that spectrum, where he wanted to set up the car manufacturing because he saw potential and he wanted to create more job opportunities. By the way, Toyota is not somebody who comes from scratch. He's already from a wealthy family. They have been established as one of the ones that builds the mesin tenun tu. So he said to his father, the future is going to be cars, because you've seen in New York automobiles, Ford. So he wanted to also go into that. And his father said, there's one production line that's empty, you just use that and use the team that's on that production line. So he built cars. And when he built cars, whenever there's a car breakdown, you would see him running and fixing the cars. In his mind, okay, Americans, they tend to translate this terbalik. Yoi hin, yoi kangai. Good products come from good thinking. So, fix the thinking and you create good products. Man, what's happening? Why am I so emotional? Anyway, moving along. This is another very emotional story. Seiko watch. One of his story was that he wanted to build a company because Japan did not have watchmakers. So he was assembling European watches, and he said, I want to build a Japanese brand watch. And he was successful. And then there was an earthquake that destroyed his shop. When the earthquake destroyed his shop, if you go to Japan, there's a museum, and in that museum there's melted watches together. And what he did was, he said to everyone who had ordered the watch, he would promise that he would replace every single one of those watches. And he managed to do that. And his business came back. He basically owns Ginza, because that's one of the most prominent landmark in Ginza. Anyway, so organizations, people in organization, we have basic things that we need to do. There's a desired results that needs to be achieved. Um, we need to know how to improve ourselves so that we could help the organization to achieve the goals. And that green color one is what I think Ikigai is all about. Let's go with a very light story next. Anyone have seen this before? A cube watermelon. Now, why do you think that they made this cube watermelon? By the way, it costs a lot. The taste is not that sweet. But why they built a cube watermelon was the owner wanted to make it easier for the production workers to transport watermelons, because round watermelons tends to roll over and whatnot. So he patented a design where you put this mold on the watermelon. As the watermelon grow, it becomes this shape. Not many people do it. There's a lot of profit in it. And so anyone here wants to invest in cube watermelon, let's talk after the session. Because a very interesting story. So now you see, you want to fix a certain problem, suddenly it becomes lucrative for the organization. And that is what I think Ikigai is all about, and how we can help our organization grow. Because as we grow, our organization grow, everybody benefits. And that's very important. So, regardless of your role, your strength, we can straightforward, very simple. How do we do it? Keep, guys, if anything you take away from this session, please don't take away pictures of me crying. That's so bad for my brand. But take away this. Number one, go back, think about how can you make work easier. Easier for you, easier for others. Remember Ikigai, you, others. Make it easier for you, make it easier for others. Next, how can we make it better? Better for you, better for others. Simple. Start with you first. It's okay. Tak salah. But don't be selfish lah. Just start with you in mind. Then think about how can it be done faster for you and then for others. How can you make your work faster? And the last one, think about how can you make it cheaper for you, cheaper for others. Okay. And it has to be in this sequence, guys. Do not flip it the other way around, because bosses have the tendency to put cheaper first. When you go cheaper first, what happens? They start to, the quality drops. So go with easier. People find it better, and then do it faster, and then probably you can do it cheaper. Give you an example. This is one way of doing work. Some people know this through 5S. Is how to make your work easier, so that you don't lose all the equipment, you don't lose all of the items, because once you put it there, once it goes missing, you can identify. Now I'm going to show you another picture. Yellow. Is an indicator that the one behind that circle is the last in the stock. So please order. So the word says last in the stock, please order. So you won't run out of the item. So what tends to happen is sometimes certain officers, you have a whole cabinet, suddenly, dah habis lah, baru nak order. Then supplier takes 1 week to send. So if you just do a small indicator like that, if I'm the person who takes the white tape, then I will know, it's the last one, I better order. So I will never run out of stock. Okay, and if you notice, they put hooks on the cabinet door so you can utilize more space. This one, I think, is superb. There's a heart to indicate which one is upwards, and there's a strawberry. Strawberry in Japanese is ichigo. Ichigo, ichi means one, go lah. So you press this button first to make life easy, because when you go photocopy machine, anybody biasa photocopy machine kan, how to use the photocopy machine, bosses tak tahu macam mana nak pakai. So they take this template, put it on top. If you want double-sided, you just So you just press tit, 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 double-sided copy, double-sided printing. Makes life super easy, cheap. Cut the paper, put the template on. So you don't waste paper, salah print and so on and so forth. Simple things that you can do. You can go to another extent. All of the furnitures here you see is being done by PVC pipe, because once you hire those who are unfortunate, their height is usually not the same as our chair height. So some furnitures cannot fit. So to make it easier and cheaper is to build. Okay, so these are some of the things that Japanese factory tend to do. I think we can do, and we can apply back in our organization. So left, raise your hands. Do not going back to office. You back to this. What happens to your mood? So try every Friday before you go. Very clean, very nice. Okay, small things like that. Small things. Try to do it on a daily basis if you can. So nak balik, kemas, cantik. Tomorrow morning you come, very clean, very happy, because you're doing it for yourself. Similar later, as we leave this room, let's make it tidy. So because we do it for ourselves and for others. You notice, right? World Cup match. Pictures of Japanese bringing the blue plastic bag, kutip sampah, and the whole world is like amazed. Wow, Japanese, dia kalah pun dia tolong bersihkan stadium. Why? Because that is something they do on a daily basis. Small things, guys. Okay. So, coming back, Ikigai, everybody wants to have a purpose and meaning in work. Betul tak? So, if we are bosses, we focus on what we can do to value that for the good job. It doesn't take a lot. Just a quick, well done. Pat on the back. Very good. Thank you for staying up. Thank you for doing this. Berapa ramai bos yang buat macam tu? Kan semua tak angkat tangan. Tak suruh angkat tangan pun tak apa. We do it for others because you guys are the chosen one in this class. Just do the simple things. Appreciate the guys out there. As you walk and you see the team from HID Corp not slept for this past couple of weeks. So just acknowledge them before you leave. Thank you for doing this. LTW up, selfie. Just appreciate people. Start small. Then inshallah, it will become very interesting in the future for all of us. So I have a few more minutes. My session is until 3:30. So takutlah nanti kan nangis balik. But anyway, this was my mentor. Remember, I lost 12 kg within that 3 months. This was the guy. Now, no ill feeling towards him, because later on I realized one reason why he wanted me to go there was, backstory was that his department was about to be dissolved. Because we did, I work in Sharp Electronics. Back then we had analog TV and digital TV, right? The LCD. Analog TV was about to be phased out. So they decided to transfer that technology to Malaysia, and Mr. Oigawa's role was to ensure the quality assurance. So he knew that his unit would be dissolved. Either he transferred to Malaysia or he had to be transferred to other department. But he's being old. He said he doesn't want to travel, so he wants to. So he has basically ready to be dissolved lah. So what he did was he called the Malaysian office. Please send one guy to be trained. My boss didn't want to go. Send me lah. So that's why I went there. Now, what happened during that 3 months was a lot of character building. I don't have time to tell the story here today. Maybe we I don't remember Fodler. I don't remember what that is one of the more popular ones. Need to take you to this place. Yeah, God. Okay, they get it, alright. So one question: do you want to bring your 3 colleagues together with you? Because this is for you, the specialist. This is for you, for your hard work this past couple of months. So I'm going to. Would you like to bring your friends, or would you like to go alone? So I said, I came here, the four of us, I want them. What did he say? Congratulations, you graduated. If I did not answer that, probably he knew that whatever he thought was a waste. So brought them, and during the last stop, he said, "This is a very nice place. Come, I take a picture for you." He took a camera and took my picture. I said to him, "No, I want a picture there." So he got somebody to take a picture of us. This is the only picture I have of him, Mr. Oikawa. I don't know whether he's still alive or not, but one of the I would say my mentor that helped thinking, I think, was him, and I think it was also part of his ikigai to ensure that his knowledge would carry on. Okay, amazing guy. Kind of feels like Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel LaRusso. Boleh lah, ada sikit lah. So, okay, this would be the interpretation of ikigai for organizations. If you like dealing with, if you don't like dealing with customer, at least like your colleagues. If you don't like, at least like that. If you don't like US, at least like the nasi lemak that you eat every morning. If you cannot like the nasi lemak that you eat every morning, at least like the music that you listen to as you go to work. Find something that gives you joy and pride. Next, talent realization, guys. I see Malaysian, we have a lot of potential. It will be such a waste. So please try to invite to somebody, because it may happen the next generation. What you can from the world needs will guarantee your future. So work towards that. The world will always need something, and beneficial contribution. That in mind, if you that overlaps these four things, inshallah you'll have your ikigai. Again, it's not the word ikigai that's important. It's the realization that we are all special, we are all unique, we have something, we contribute, whatever that something is. Okay, so I think I have a few more minutes for question, but because it's more of a one-way thingy, maybe I can take your questions. We can have a quick chat outside after this, so at least a bit more relaxed. Let me dry up my face for sure. Anyway, I'd like to leave you guys with the last part. Again, coming back to Osaka Castle. You see a lot of this. By the way, I took this picture from the internet. You will see this visual a lot on the internet. But what you don't see is this angle. Okay, what you don't see is this angle, and I purposely took this angle. They actually built a lift, elevator to transport people, disabled people, so that disabled people could also enjoy Osaka Castle. Things like this, I think we can, work towards. I know it's not our place, it's not our role, but if we talk about it enough, then something good can happen. Okay. Although a lot of people are very intrigued with the wall at the back, I would like you to see the helmets. Okay, the fact that they all wear helmets is one thing. All of them would have gloves, white gloves, but the color-coded helmets also helps arrange the workforce. And that is another thing that I think is simple things that as our organization we can do. Now, as I walked around Osaka Castle, I also saw this. People trimming and maintaining the environment. Okay. Now, I took this picture on purpose. Anything particular that you see here? Now, I track back the picture. They're using uniform, right? Their uniform is actually protective equipment. You see people cut grass in Malaysia? Kain sarung. This one is proper Kevlar. Okay? And one of the things I don't know why we cannot have it here is this particular lawn mower. It's very light. Imagine if you're going to cut grass the whole day, and it's going to, burden you if you have that bulky thingy. We could all do better with this. And dia ada macam handle. So you're not economics. This picture was taken in 2008, guys. They already knew about economics 2008. We are now trying to understand economics. And the best part is, this is a different place, different location. I got this off the internet. See what's happening? Why do we have this? I'm sure you have experienced cermin kereta. So this place is another tourist spot. So what they do is they'll have one person to cut and another person to just put the wicket so that stones doesn't fly off to hit people who are the ones that's monitoring the work. They're monitoring the people because safety, please don't stand here. Wow, amazing. This small thing. I really love Japan. I'm maybe a bit biased. Nothing personal, but if Malaysia could just work towards being like this, kita boleh pukul, kita boleh pukul Thailand. It could be the top, the Asian. People tend to talk about Asian the economic standpoint. Let's talk about it from the guide. I hope we can go back and just reflect and find a little bit of guide. And with that, it's been a pleasure.